looking very slick today.
I appreciate that. Try to keep that on 10 at all times.
Looks good. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Thank you for asking.
We're in Dallas today at South by So What?
Dallas is where our band grew up, so we're stoked to be here.
That's awesome. Did you guys all meet in Dallas, or what happened?
Yeah, many moons ago. We sure did.
We met on MySpace, actually. Kellen's the only member in the band that's actually from Dallas. So, you know, Corey's from Nashville, I'm from Spokane, Washington, Jake and Ann are from Florida, and we are just a big group of random
MySpace friends
that worked out really well, yeah.
Awesome. You guys met on MySpace, which is a very long time ago.
Yeah, for those of you watching this, if you don't know what MySpace is, it was way before your time.
Yeah. With Tom and everything.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's cool.
It's like Facebook, but more colorful.
MySpace isn't around, but don't ever forget your top 10, all right?
Sure. Wait, well, I had like a top 8, I think. Didn't people used to get angry when you weren't in their top 10?
I mean, it was offensive. One day you'd be in a top 10, the next day you wouldn't. You'd be taking them out of your top 10, and they'd be like, why'd you take me out? You took me out, dude. Well, like, sorry, someone else runs my MySpace, you know?
Just, I had like the PC for PCs. And God, that was crazy.
Yeah, so frustrating.
Yeah. All right, you guys. You brought out your latest album, Unconditional, last year.
Yep.
Can you tell me something about the writing and recording process of the record and how that record came together?
Yeah.
I did most of like the pre-pro and guitar recording and bass at home, and then we flew out to Arizona and did vocals and drums. The guy that we did the record with, he used to be in Florida. Okay. So going to Arizona was quite a bit of a change. It's pretty hot out there.
It is very humid and hot.
Terrible. And very dry. Yeah, I spent a ton of time on vocals. I was going through a rough time in my life, so I did half of the vocals right off the bat, and then we did some touring, and then I actually flew back and finished up all the vocals. Yeah. So the process was pretty prolonged. I spent a bunch of time in a hotel room by myself, just trying to figure out what was going on in my life. Yeah. Put it on paper, and it became an album.
That's a good way to go about it.
That I'm very proud of.
It's a very good album. Cool. It's very good, and your lyrics seem very personal. How do you try and write your lyrics, and where do you get your your inspiration from?
Well, it just depends on the record. I've done a lot of looking from the outside in, writing about other people's lives that I've that I've been able to observe. God's been so good to me, and a lot of times people need a song to relate to their life when it's something I haven't been through yet. So I do my best to write about things like that, to offer people an outlet, an emotional outlet to listen to and to cope with. But yeah, Unconditional was all about me and my struggles, and also my observations. There's a song called Beneath the Skin that, some stuff that I would take to heart, some things that weights that I would hold, because I didn't know how else to deal with it, when you meet a lot of fans that are going through those things. So, the whole record, lyrically, to me, it's a masterpiece because it was so messy and it came together so beautifully, and I think that's a very God-ordained thing. So I'm proud of it.
This is a very good way of explaining it. Thank you. And when you write your lyrics, when you go through a very rough time, how do you try and deal with your personal rough times when you have to do your music as well?
Well, it's kind of weird putting it into a record. I think that when you're going through something like that, the last thing you would ever want to do is stand on a pedestal and be like, hey, everybody, this is what I'm going through. When someone's really experiencing something that tough, you don't want to talk about it at all with anybody. But what you don't know is that the healthiest thing you can do is talk about it. My sister's a therapist, she's an incredible woman of God. Her name's Amy Alexander, and she runs a nonprofit organization for counseling in Nashville called the Refuge Center for Counseling. And she really encouraged me to get it out, to put it on paper, and to offer it up to the world so that people could know that they weren't alone in what they were going through. Against my better judgment, I did, and it was actually the best thing that I could have done. And that's the coping process. You don't want to talk about it. You do talk about it. You start to understand it. God steps in and does His work, and you're back on track to being, to learning more and to understanding more about yourself, and having more tools in your belt of how to deal with certain things in life. This is very cool.
And being healthy too.
Yes.
Yeah. Being healthy is always important.
Mental health is just as important as physical health, if not more. So
That's very true. I completely agree with you on that. And when you write music, same for you, how do you try and challenge yourself or push your own boundaries?
I just try and write something harder than the previous album. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
really pisses off everybody else in the band.
Makes me mad too, and I have to try and relearn the songs later on after we recorded them.
Yeah.
Like, man, why did I write it this way? It's too dang hard.
No, it's cool. Kellen's never been stagnant as a writer. So, yes, it's frustrating for everybody when we sit down and we listen to a new instrumental demo and everyone's like, well, I can't play that, but I guess we'll see what happens, you know. But in the process, everybody becomes better, you know, like new rhythms and new styles of writing for me to write vocals over is always a challenge. It always makes me better. I'm always proud of it at the end of it. So we're very thankful for Kellen and his desire to grow.
Great. And how do you vocally push yourself a little bit? Because your vocals are very, you know, high pitched and everything, so that must be
Totally. It's different with every record. On this, on stuff that we've been writing, you know, most recently, what I try to do is to make everything interesting and tasteful, while also being very mindful of what my voice goes through on a 40-day tour. You know, so hey, this sounds great, and I'm in the studio right now, and I feel great. But 20 days into a tour, is that going to be something that I can really do, something that I can really project, something that I can really offer to an audience? Probably not. So take a step back, rewrite that melody. Hey, this is just as cool, sounds just as radio rock, but I can actually sing that live. So that's been a challenge for me, and just kind of learning that I'm not Anthony Green, and you know, just.
Did you see him last night?
No, I haven't.
So good.
Was it so good?
So good.
That's awesome. Yeah, no. So just learning about myself and becoming a better vocalist in the process. So.
It's all about learning in life. You learn something new every single day. That's what I've been realizing
Absolutely.
a lot recently.
And you got to be stoked on that.
It is very, very cool.
You got to be stoked on the fact that you don't have it all figured out.
No.
Because whether you think you do or not, you don't, and you never will.
Nope. Yep. Everything you say, I completely agree with, which is, yeah, that's great. So you guys are on tour right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for you guys for tour?
When are you dropping this interview?
April 6th.
Oh,
Cool.
that'd be good, yeah.
So yeah, next up we've got Warped Tour. We're going to be on it all summer long. We're going to be playing some new songs, dropping some new music, obviously. People aren't going to expect it, but it is going to happen. We're going to have new stuff coming out, which we're really excited about. Maybe some renditions of some old songs, older, you know, not old, but you know, previous songs. Yeah, just we're doing that, and then we've got. Well, we've got all of this year planned out, and I just can't tell you what it is yet. But Warped Tour, we'll see you there.
Any European things?
Maybe.
Oh, I think European fans miss you.
Yeah, well, we miss Doner Kebab, so we'll be back.
Oh, please. I just arrived back, because I'm from Europe.
Yeah.
And I flew in 2 days ago, and I saw this little kebab thing here on the field. And I know, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, it's kebab. I was like, oh, shit, it's not the same.
But in New York City, the street kebab is awesome.
Yeah. Have you ever had the good chicken tikka kebabs in the UK?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's all we eat over there, you know?
I still have my Nando's card in my wallet.
Nando's is so good.
What part? Nando's in there.
What part are you from?
I'm from Amsterdam, and I lived in Manchester for 4 years.
We love Amsterdam. We thought Amsterdam was the coolest city. Great food, really cool people. Yeah, that was a really cool city and great kebab.
Yeah,
we all have these. Well, I have a sock on, so you're not gonna be able to see it.
maybe he can show.
We all have kebab tattoos. I'm sure you recognize that symbol.
Wait, I've seen that before.
It's the guy cutting meat off of a kebab spit.
Someone showed me this before from your band. Did you ever go to Satan's Hollow in Manchester? The really weird club with the sticky floor?
Yeah, because they play rock music there. And that was awesome.
Someone showed me that tattoo when I was in there.
Yeah. So we all have it.
Yeah.
Kebab afterwards.
Yeah, well, who doesn't get kebab in Manchester?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, guys. So stay tuned for more from Memphis May Fire, and thank you so much for chatting to me.
Thank you.